Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Ramadan. I hope these last few days are filled with blessings for you. And that was one of my reasons for doing this in the last few days before iftar, is to remind us, inshallah, and encourage everybody to turn to the Quran and spend time with the Quran, inshallah. So without further ado, inshallah, let's go ahead and start. Um, I might need a little bit of introduction of myself for some of you. Um, Maybe you attended a class with me before, but maybe not. So I'm Ustad Michael. I've been a Quran teacher for 10 years, and the program that I've developed is called Quran Intuitive. It is the outcome of 10 years of teaching and experience with different ways that students learn. And the majority of my students have been middle schoolers, students in middle school. And I teach them to understand what they're reading, what they're memorizing in the short surahs, because that's where students start. And so, actually, a lot of the background of who I am and why Quran Intuitive is the reason and the mindset of this program that I'm inviting you to join me for in the coming 2 months, inshallah. So stay until the end. It's just going to be 30 minutes, 28 minutes now, inshallah. I'll give you the link on how to join the program, inshallah, so that you can really connect with the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. I'm local to Dallas, as you can probably see from the timings I send every time, Dallas time. So I work in an Islamic school here called Good Tree Academy. I work full time. I teach Quran and I teach Arabic, and Arabic meaning that we teach the meaning of the Quran. I help to develop the curriculum. And what I have to present to you today is really the outcome of me using my engineering background. I'm a mechanical engineering by profession, or I was. I was trained as a mechanical engineer, so to speak, to use those skills to help me put together the curriculum in an organized fashion for the students, such that they are learning to understand the Quran without any technical grammar. Intuitive means that you're learning what it means, you're learning to bond with the message without getting technical. Now, in this, the title of this session is the three rules. When you say rules, it sounds like it's not a intuitive approach. It's a rule that we're going to have to learn technical things. So I'm going to start with clarifying what exactly do I mean here. If you've already taken my programs, you know that I focus 100% on the main message of the surahs, the keywords of the surahs, and where are other places with a word like this so that you can connect, put two and two together, and as a result, remember the message for good, which means there is no technical grammar. When I started at the school and started teaching middle school, and they hired me to work on the curriculum at the same time as I was teaching, I noticed very quickly that the students, this is what they need. This is middle school. They don't need anything technical. They're learning their own language. They're learning the grammar of their own language in middle school. They're learning about verbs and prepositions and different things in ELA. So I'm not going to teach them any technical grammar. However, that's all I knew how to do. I came out fresh from the Bayina program, which is intensive, fully grammar focused. It's an excellent program, mashallah. And from there, the only way that I knew to learn Arabic, therefore the only way that I knew to teach Arabic, was to go through the rules of the language. So I had to kind of adapt. And so those first summers, this was 2014 and 2015. I spent the time to kind of draft and put together what would eventually become Quran Intuitive. Um, it actually it goes backwards. What I planned and prepared in 2015 is what I've already been teaching with Quran Intuitive. What I planned and prepared in 2014 is what we are starting now, which is the first time I'm doing it officially under Quran Intuitive. I had taught it one time in the masjid in 2014 after preparing it, 2014, 2015. And now it's really repackaged and ready to be really intuitive, that we're going to bond with the Quran directly intuitively without getting technical, inshallah ta'ala. So in 2015, since that's the first one that I taught or that I put together for the Quran Intuitive Program, in 2015, what I did is that I looked at which words are repeated specifically in the short surahs at the end of the Quran, so that when I teach students the meaning and the message and what's really cool about a surah, I'm talking to middle school students, I can tell them, and by the way, this word here, let's take the example of فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ in Surah Quraysh. That word, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا, is like the word نَعْبُدُ in Surah Al-Fatiha. So that's a very basic example, but every surah has 5 to 10 to 15 words, and then when you get to page-long surahs, you have, dozens of words that are already found in another surah. So that summer, I spent the time putting together a list of where the words are repeated. And as a result, this is a very important note here, that if you go online and you look for the most repeated words in the Quran, you will find that that list is actually not exactly the same list that I have. Because there are some words that are repeated in the short surahs quite a few times that don't come in the rest of the Quran. One example, or they rarely come in the rest of the Quran. One example is the word al-ashqa. Another example is the word thaqulat or mithqal or athqalaha. These words are far down the list of most repeated words in the Quran, but they are very important for the short surahs because they are repeated there. So that's what I did at that time. And then I taught the students without any grammar, and it was quite effective and it worked out well. Students are learning to bond with the Quran, and alhamdulillah. However, what I notice also as I'm teaching is that um, whenever we're getting to know a foreign language, or specifically trying to understand the Quranic Arabic, it's, we're doing it for spiritual reasons. There's a spiritual aspect to it. There's the holiness of the Quran. It makes that studies environment a little bit different. And so we want to understand the depths. It's natural, it's normal. And so as a result, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible because that's the level that I teach, the middle school. And I found that adults are really doing great with that approach that works for middle school. But as adults, questions come up. And I've taught this Quran Intuitive multiple times already to groups of adults, going from 10 to over 50 adult students. And so the questions that come up sometimes are related to something deep, something grammatical. And I always have to say, well, this is, I can give you a glimpse, but overall, to understand this fully, to understand the depths of this, you would have to go and learn grammar. So this is what motivated me to put this program together, to repackage what I had done in 2014, which I'm about to explain now, and present it to you so that now, as you're learning to really bond with the message of the surahs in the Quran intuitive approach, and that you're gaining a lot of vocabulary and being able to easily remember that vocabulary by knowing which words are repeated and where they're repeated. As you're doing this now, there's also a small aspect of getting more familiar with the Arabic grammar, and we're going to focus specifically on 3 rules, inshallah ta'ala. So what I did in 2014, which brought me here, which brought me to present this to you, and I've heard the bell ding for Zoom. So if you joined and you missed the beginning, don't worry, it's recorded. You probably got a notification when you came in that this is recorded. So as soon as I'm done with the logistics on my side, the recording will be there on the same page that you signed up for, the /unlock, and you'll have the recording there, inshallah, so you can rewatch if you'd like to. So in 2014, this was before I looked at which words are repeated and where they're repeated. In 2014, I looked at all the examples specifically in the short surahs, the surahs that are a page long or less. I looked at all the examples in those surahs of the rules of Arabic. And I found that many rules of Arabic have 1, 2, 3 examples at most. Many rules have very few examples. And so I came out with a list of all these ayat that were a good example of the rules. And then I looked at, for now, we're not getting into any of the rules. So I'll just use A, B, C, D as rule A, rule B, rule C, rule D. And I'm noticing, okay, this ayah takes only rule A. This ayah here takes rule A and C. And this ayah here takes rule B and C. And this ayah here takes all four A, B, C, D to understand the ayah. This verse, I looked at which of the rules of Arabic are applied in which ayah, and from the list of those applicable rules of Arabic in the short surahs at the end of the Quran, I came out with a sequence that if I teach rule A first, there's going to be a good number, about 25 examples where the verse only uses rule A. And then I'll teach rule B, and I'll find another 25, or I don't know the exact number. We have it in the PDF, inshallah, with ayat, verses that apply specifically just rule A and B. And then another set for A, B, C, and then going forward. So, and what I realized is that if I package them right, and this is what now I've been teaching this specific school year. In my 8th grade class, I've been teaching exactly this, implementing those rules and implementing them in the verses. The point here is that it's more about the skill to implement the rule than it is about the rules themselves. This is what happens in middle school, and majority of adults in life who want to bond with the Quran or any subject for that matter, we need a lot of application for a theoretical concept to really sink in. And so that's why we need those 25 ayat. And then we add just one element, one aspect, and we have another 25 ayat that help us to implement it. So what you're going to get from this program, that this is an intro session to the program, which I'm calling Arabic Intuitive. What we're going to get from this program is not that you're going to know everything about Arabic. You're going to know only 3 rules. But you're going to gain the skills on whatever it is you're learning about Arabic. It's completely foreign. And you're going to see those rules, they are, I want to say they are technical. They are advanced. They take special type of thinking and mindset to understand and grasp how these 3 rules work. But it's only going to be 3. Instead, the takeaway from this session that we're starting today is going to be that you're going to know how to apply to the surahs that you know, the short surahs at the end of the Quran, how to apply whatever it is you're learning. You're going to learn that skill with only 3 rules. Inshallah, that skill will stay with you for life, and you'll be able to learn another rule of Arabic and by yourself apply it and see how it is applied in the surahs. So in that summer of 2014, I had a database of which ayat, which verses of the Quran are an example of which Arabic rule. And as a result, it's a pretty consistent sequence where it goes step by step, and you really get to see the implementation of that rule in the short surahs that you are already familiar with. We're going to go over the whole 2 juz at the end of the Quran. Not that we're going to do everything in those 2 juz, that what we are going to cover is going to be from Surah Al-Mulk until Surah Al-Nas, inshallah. So Surah 67 to Surah 114 for the last 2 juz of the Quran, which is, if your masjid has already done the khatam, or maybe our masjid is doing the khatam, the completion of the Quran in Taraweeh this evening. So we're going to hear half of Juz Amma, but if your masjid is doing the khatam tomorrow or in 2 days, then these specific surahs I'm talking about, these are the ones you're hearing these evenings in the masjid. So this is what everything we're going to do in the program is going to be from those surahs, inshallah ta'ala. So speaking of now the learning to implement the skills, or learning the skill to implement the rules versus learning more and more and more rules, this is really, may Allah bless the first students that I had in that year, 2014-15, when I had a class at the masjid. They brought me feedback consistently along the way that, yes, you're making it easy, you're teaching us, but when are we going to really apply this? And so in the PDF, and as soon as you register for this program, you're going to have access to the PDFs, of course. In the PDFs, each ayah, because we're doing ayat according to the rule of Arabic that is in the ayah, each ayah in the PDF has the translation and the context of what the ayah is, so that you can connect and put 2 and 2 together. Inshallah, that'll make it easy for you to, there's going to be a number of students who join who haven't memorized all of Juz Tabarak and Juz Amma. Or maybe you've memorized some of it, you're familiar with a lot of it, but you haven't memorized that much, or maybe you haven't memorized much of it at all. So in every step of the way, there's going to be examples from the shortest and examples from pages, surahs that are 1 page long or about that size. So there's going to be some for everybody, inshallah. And also, I noticed in the Muslim community that a lot of people did not learn the Quran in terms of reading and memorizing the way that I did. And that's because, people are of varied skill sets and ways to learn. So that's perfectly normal. There are many people who know the Quran better, but haven't memorized it to the in such a way that they can recite it and lead prayer with it. They know it better than I do. They have studied it more than I have, but they haven't memorized it in such a way that they can recite it in Salah. And so as a result, I know that many people, even if they don't necessarily say I've memorized those surahs, they are somewhat familiar. They've learned what these surahs are talking about, and so it's going to be very, very beneficial, inshallah. On top of that, the topics in the short surahs at the end of the Quran are definitely mainstream Islamic topics. These are things that Muslims just know about, generally speaking. You don't need to actually know the surahs. And this is a light bulb moment that a lot of my students have is, oh, I knew this. I knew this concept. I just didn't know that this is the surah or this is a surah or a passage that fully discusses that concept, inshallah. So it'll be, inshallah, a very motivational, spiritual experience to be able to go through these ayat. It is going to be, for those of you who took the programs that I did before, is going to be very similar in the sense that it's about bonding with the message. The distinction between those programs and this program that we're starting, those programs were one surah at a time. We're studying the whole surah, getting the message, and comparing where the words came from. And like I said, this is what I worked on in 2014 to put it together. Now, this is going to be organized based on the grammar rules, the rules of Arabic. And so we're not going to go in the sequence of surahs. We're going to go in sequence of learning the skill to implement the rule. And you're going to have the context and the translation in the PDF ready for you, inshallah ta'ala. Very important comment that I want to make here, and I want to make a comparison for a lot of people. It's beneficial to understand this, is that I'll take the comparison of, let's say you are learning to ski or snowboard. I used to snowboard. I love snowboarding. I haven't gone for many years, 14 years now. I love it, but this is just as an example. So if you're learning to ski, there are levels of things that can be explained to you. The main thing that you need to know to learn to ski is how to interact with the ski itself or the snowboard, how to position yourself. Somebody needs to show you how to flex the legs, how to position yourself, how to slow down, how to turn, how to. Those how to are things they're going to explain to you, and your snowboard coach might have rules for you to apply. Always lean on your left foot. Always lean on the front of your foot, not on your heels. These are rules, right? So you're going to learn rules that are meant for you to know how to go down the slope. But then you could also learn how different types of snow will affect the way that the ski reacts to the snow. You are going to learn how to get onto the lifts that get you up there, and you're also going to learn how the lift gets you up there. And then you might even learn the science, you could, if you wanted to, learn the science of how a ski or a snowboard slides very fast. And what is the contact between the snow and the board that makes it slide fast? And as a result, what is the best board to buy? And what is the best equipment to have? And what is the best gear? All of these different things are things that could be useful for what you're learning. But the reason I'm bringing this comparison here is, what is the goal of getting a coach? Some people might have the goal to become experts. They want to start a snowboarding business, they want to build snowboards, and they want to be the best in their business. For those people, of course, they would want to learn everything that there is, and they would sit in classes. But the majority of people who get a coach for snowboarding, they just get a coach for snowboarding so they can know how to go down a slope, go down a mountain, and enjoy the beautiful nature of Allah in the mountains. I wish it wasn't so expensive. Then it would encourage people a lot more to go to the mountains in the snow and experience the blessings of Allah. If that's the goal of the majority of people who take a coaching or a coach for snowboarding or for skiing. They just want to know how to go down the mountain. And as a result, coaches who get paid to teach people how to go down a mountain, they know very well not to teach the technical details of this kind of snow versus that kind of snow, or this kind of board, this kind of angle versus that kind of angle. They're not going to go into these details. They're just going to take you up the mountain. And once you get to a kind of snow, they're going to tell you, for this kind of snow, do this. They're not going to explain to you all the details about the kinds of snow and if it's more icy and if the snow fell 2 days ago versus just last night and all these different things. They're not going to explain all the details about the kinds of snow. But when you meet a specific kind of snow, the coach is going to be there to help you go down the mountain. So the goal of the student determines what the coach is going to teach to help the student reach that goal. In Arabic, when it comes to understanding the Quran, there are those 3 levels. I made it into 3 levels in this comparison that I'm giving because it is also 3 levels in Arabic. What are the 3 levels in the snowboarding or skiing experience? Level 1, learn with the goal to be able to come down the mountain. Level 2, learn with the goal to be able to manage different kinds of snow and by yourself master how to get on particular types of lifts and particular kinds of snow and understand these in detail. Level 3 is the goal of being able to master the science altogether and be able to design a snowboard or be in a snowboard business. These are the 3 different levels. In Arabic, what are the 3 levels we're looking at? There are majority of people, they want to learn Arabic so that they can understand the meaning and bond with the meaning of what they are reading. The next level is that very quickly, anybody who's at that first level will start to want to understand not just what is the meaning of what I'm reading, but also why is this letter this way? And why is that harakah this way? And why is this and why is that? As soon as you start getting comfortable understanding the meaning of what you're reading, you start scratching your head. Assalamu alaikum. So sometimes kum is you, sometimes tum is you. Why kum, why tum? So these questions pop up, and a person who has that goal to understand why the letters are the way they are or the harakat are the way they are. But that's still the second level. And the third level is that students now want to understand the depths and the nuances of Allah could have said it this way, and He would have meant something here. But the fact that Allah said it this way, it means something more nuanced. From my experience, from all the Arabic programs that I've seen, the rules of Arabic that are taught without focusing on what level the student is at and which goal are they trying to reach. Are they trying to reach that goal of getting deep into the nuances of all the ayat? If yes, then for sure, we should teach them all the rules of Arabic. But if no, if they're just trying to bond with the Quran, then we should restrict ourselves to simply teaching those rules, just like take the example of the coach at the top of the mountain. When you meet ice on the slope, this is how you deal with it. Not that we're going to teach you all the details of the different kinds of snow. No, when you meet it, this is how you deal with it. Inshallah ta'ala. So with this now, I'm going to invite you to join the course, inshallah. Let me at least give you some screen share here. This is one of the pages. So this is the PDF. As I'm bringing this up on the screen, I'm realizing. So context is there for surahs that are after Surah Al-Ghashiyah. I believe, if I remember correctly, the way that I did it. So surahs that are very short, all the way at the end of the Quran, the context is not there. Context is there. I can show you. Context is there here. So context on the right-hand side, and then translation on the left-hand side. So what we're going to do throughout the class, this is the first one that we're going to do. Let me see. I probably need to. Can I write here? Not yet. Where's the pen? Here. Okay. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to show you that this dhamma here, nasru, is the word help, and help is the subject, and the dhamma represents that help is the subject. This kasra here on the word Allah, I'm using a triangle purposefully. This kasra here, the word Allah here, the word Allah is the kasra. The reason it's a kasra and the triangle represents that is because it's after the word of. And then we're going to have a bubble on the word fathu. And I'm explaining to you there that fathu is also the subject. And as a result, the victory is also the subject. The subject of what? The verb is the word ja'a. The verb is the word come. So this is how these harakat are explained. These are the rules. This is one of the rules of Arabic we're going to do. And we're going to go over all these ayat to see, okay, so subject has a dhamma at the end, and I see how help is the subject of the word come, and victory is also the subject of the word come. So these two words with the bubble on the dhamma are the subject of the word ja'a. And then another explanation here, there's a kasra, and yes, indeed, in the ayah itself, the word Allah comes after the word of. So we're going to go over ayat like this and explain why things are the way they are, inshallah. Let me go ahead and erase that. Bismillah. So we're going to do it in 30 times 30. 30 sessions, 30 minutes each session, inshallah. Of course, like I've done for all the virtual classes that I've taught, it's going to be recorded. So if you miss any class, if you miss any session, you're going to have access to the recordings. I'm purposefully keeping it to shorter sessions because I know that that's a good way to help students not feel that they're falling behind if they could not attend one session. On top of that, is going to take us multiple sessions before we move to the next rule, because it's only going to be 3 rules. It's going to be 10 sessions per rule if you think about it, 30 sessions. 10 sessions per rule. So if you miss a few ayat, you're not going to fall behind in the program. So you don't necessarily need to attend every single session to be able to follow the next session. It's going to be one of the blessings of the program. For example, if you reach and we've already reached here, or let's go down further. The context of this surah is going to be a different context than the surahs before, and it's going to still apply the same exact rule. So you're not going to be behind if you missed any class. So 30 sessions, we're going to do them, inshallah, at this time, inshallah, in the coming 2 months. I'm hoping to do, or we're not going to do it over Eid, but I'm hoping to do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So 4 days a week, just 30 minutes, inshallah, that you can join. And if you're traveling, 30 minutes usually doesn't, you can step out of wherever you're gathering and just be on your phone and attend the session. It's 30 minutes, really a reasonable amount of time that can help you to really accomplish a lot. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 7 p.m. our Dallas time. I don't know how many of you here that have joined today are actually local to Dallas, but every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 7 to 7:30 p.m., inshallah. And we're going to go over these different ayat. Let me go ahead and share. So first, let's go to the chat and share with you the link, which is going to be the regular Quran intuitive. Now we put / Arabic with a capital A. Quran intuitive. If I don't put .com, it's not going to work. QuranIntuitive.com / Arabic with a capital A. So that's the link that you can go to sign up for the class, inshallah. I want to say that when I came out of Bayyinah, I might go a little bit over. I tried my best. Just minutes, inshallah. I went to Bayyinah, and I don't say this to show off or flaunt, but I came out valedictorian from that batch. I did really well in the program, and within a year after that, I was certified by Bayyinah to teach advanced Arabic grammar, which I did that first year in 2014. So what you're getting here is state of the art. It's advanced in the sense that I've done everything I can to make it easy and consumable for the audience. But what you're learning is really the essential aspects of Arabic. This is really going to empower you, mountains of empowerment to bond with the Quran and really develop a strong relationship with the Book of Allah. This is what many imams and many seminaries will teach, is basically everything we teach, everything Muslims teach is to help people bond with the message of Allah, with Islam, understand their religion, understand why they're practicing. So in this blessed month of Ramadan, I invite you all to please join this program. It's going to be a great opportunity, and it is state of the art. It is advanced. It is my baby that I've been working on for all these years. So this program, this 30 times 30 minutes, 30 session times 30 minutes, the value that I've assigned to that program is $359 for that whole program. But of course, this is a beta launch. This is the first time I'm teaching it in this program. So I'm only asking for half of that, $179 for the entire 2 months. And In addition, everything that is already on Quran Intuitive, if you sign up for this program, you're going to have access to all of it for 90 days, for 3 months. So it's going to be only 2 months that we're going to do those sessions. But if you sign up and you enroll with those $179 for the 2 months, for the 30 times 30 minutes, you're going to get access to everything in Quran Intuitive, from Surah Al-Nas all the way to Surah Al-Rahman. And everything that I've talked about, which is not part of this program, is going to be available to you on the recordings there with your registration to this particular session, which I'm calling Arabic Intuitive, inshallah ta'ala. I believe that's it. Oh, I want to show you no, one more thing, inshallah. I want to show you what it looks like when you sign up. So there's going to be a couple links, and once you're signed up and you've purchased this course, that's how it calls on the platform, is going to send you a link. It's going to be like you see at the top here, library, QuranIntuitive.com/library. Is going to ask you to log in. So I don't know if you already have, or maybe not. I don't know how those technical things work. You're going to have to log in to access the library, and it's going to look exactly like this. The top two here, Quran Intuitive live recordings and intuitive translation. This is other programs that I've taught. You're going to have access to this, the entire package. This is, over 100 classes that are recorded there, accessible to you, where there's no grammar. It's only just bonding with the message and looking at which words are repeated and where they're repeated. And then this one here, Arabic Intuitive, this is the new one, where on a regular basis, starting now, I'm going to upload. As of now, so we start over here. This is the first lesson. That's all there is for now. I'm going to upload this recording as soon as we're done with this Zoom session. I'm going to upload it there, and you're going to have access to it too if you want to rewatch it. And here you have 2 PDFs. So you can go ahead and as soon as you register, as soon as you enroll for this program, you're going to have access to the PDFs, which is what I was sharing on the screen a minute ago. You'll see what all 3 of these rules are. There's color codings. It'll make it easy, inshallah, and motivational, inshallah. It'll help you and motivate you to bond with the Quran more and develop a strong relationship with the Quran. With that now, I'm done, and I'm going to go ahead and somewhere I had said, so I'll stop share first. I had said, don't let participants unmute. So let's go ahead. If I do this, allow participants to unmute. Okay. So now you're allowed to unmute, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so that if you have any questions, I'll be here for just a few more minutes. Barakallahu fikum. If you're not going to stay, may Allah bless you. If this is Laylatul Qadr, or Allahumma ballighna Laylatul Qadr, may Allah accept. And I hope that all of you want to join this wonderful program that is really my baby, inshallah. Never mind. So stop recording. Where is this?